stretched off. Well, he definitely must have stretched off because he showed his agility at the end there.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Aberdeen Rangers, a 4:30 kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. Back to the FA Cup. Mansfield somehow now have just 15 minutes to hold on here, and they were so comfortable at one stage, Adam Cottier.
It's an exhilarating match when Rhys Oates put Mansfield of League One 4-1 ahead in the 57th minute. It looked like they were sure of a place in round 4 for the first time in nearly 2 decades. But Sheffield United introduced Patrick Bamford in what might be his final game for the club. His short-term contract comes to an end this coming week. He prodded in a goal back, and then an own goal from Nathan Mariah Welsh. Really a quite interesting own goal when he poked out a leg and put it on to the underneath of the crossbar after a cross came in from the right. That has got Sheffield United back in this tie. It's been full of spectacular goals and incidents, pure chaos, and it's Sheffield United 3, Mansfield 4 with 14 minutes left.
There's been another goal at the London Stadium where West Ham were 1-0 up. Now Aaron Paul.
God, 9,000 QPR fans in absolute pandemonium over on the far side. And you know what, Mark? It is so deserved. It's Richard Kone, who 24 months ago was playing non-league football down the road on Hackney Marshes for Athletic Newham. This time he's headed QPR right back into this FA Cup tie. Karamoka Dembele with the cross in off his left, curled it in beautifully. Kone with a glancing header, and we are at 1-1. And you know what that feeling's like for West Ham United. Nuno, he just looks on with absolute disgust on his face because his side have this in control, Mark, and they've let it all go. It's 1-1.
Face like thunder is the best way to describe how Nuno is looking at the moment. Walsall have got one back at Norwich, and it was a good goal, Paul Scott.
It was an absolute belter. It might, from Walsall's point of view, unfortunately be no more than a consolation because Jovan Makama's hat-trick and Maciej Jurosek's first half goal mean that Norwich lead by 4-1 with around 17 minutes or so to go. But the Saddlers pulled one back. It was the substitute Courtney Clark who spun away from a couple of defenders about 40 yards from goal. He went on a surging run and then from 25 yards just decided to let rip, curling it into the top corner. It's probably no more than a consolation. Norwich heading to round 4, surely. They lead Walsall 4-1.
All to play for in the last 15 minutes or so in South Wales. Laura Kenyon.
Absolutely. Swansea 1, West Brom 1. This game coming to life in the second half. Just 1 point separates these sides in the Championship, and it's neck and neck here in the FA Cup. Ji Sung-on with a great strike for the opener before Josh Maja poked home for the West Brom equaliser. High tempo, both sides throwing numbers forwards. Still time, as you say, for a winner to avoid extra time. It's 77 minutes gone, 1-1.
Anything at Hull, Rob Law?
Oh, Mark, I wish there was. We're more endeavour from Hull in the second half, it has to be said, though. They won an early corner, which was worked well to Liam Miller, lurking outside the D, but his long-range effort breezed over the crossbar. Joe Ndala just rifled his effort wide from inside the box. It is starting to open up a lot more, but it is still Hull City 0, Blackburn 0.
Are you going to put in a request to go straight to penalties?
I would have done that at half time if truth be told. I think everybody inside the MKM would have as well.
Thank you very much, Rob. Manchester United Brighton kicks off at 4:30. We will go there shortly. We'll look ahead to the Champions Cup rugby that's on the way that you'll be able to listen to on Sports Extra between Saracens and Toulouse as well. And 6:06 with Robbie and Clinton Morrison is here in just under an hour's time. First of all, Joe Hornby has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has said his government is willing to sit down with genuine protesters to address their concerns, but said the current unrest in the country was being manipulated by Iran's enemies. His government has been under intense pressure over Iran's struggling economy, with demonstrations being held for the past fortnight. 3 teenagers and a man in his 50s have been killed and another 5 people have been taken to hospital following a car crash in Bolton in the early hours of this morning. It's understood the drivers of both cars were killed, along with 2 passengers who were 18 and 19. 6,000 homes will remain without power in Cornwall due to Storm Goretti. 30,000 properties across Kent and Sussex also now either have no water or pressure issues. South East Water says it's due to recent cold weather and a breakout of leaks and bursts. And in his first interview since being sacked as the UK's ambassador to Washington, Lord Mandelson has refused to apologise to Jeffrey Epstein's victims for continuing his friendship with the financier after he was convicted of being a paedophile. However, Lord Mandelson did apologise to the women for a system which refused to listen to them.
5 Live Sports.
WSL.
Our referee for this afternoon blows her whistle. We are underway.
And the opening goal! And she is able to just take her spot.
Hurls its way past the best goalkeeper in the division.
BBC Women's Football Weekly.
The latest news, insights and analysis from across the women's game.
Lucy Bruns, welcome back. What one lioness do you think would make the best rugby player? Me?
Listen
with the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sports.
The FA Cup with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
2 results so far today. Derby 1, Leeds 3, Portsmouth 1, Arsenal 4. They're still playing in the 2:30 kickoffs. Goalless between Hull and Blackburn. Norwich are 4-1 up on Walsall. Cracking game at Bramall Lane with Mansfield 4-3 up on Sheffield United. They have been 4-1 up. Swansea 1, West Brom 1 and West Ham 1. QPR 1. We'll go to Old Trafford shortly, where it's an all Premier League time. Manchester United at home to Brighton. Sam Parkin with us for the next hour or so. I mean, bigger picture here, really. Apart from Macclesfield, which I appreciate is the biggest ever, and Wrexham against Forest on Friday night, it's not been brilliant for lower league clubs against higher ranked opposition, has it?
No, I've been thinking exactly that the last 24 hours. I think the disparity between even the second strings of the Premier League sides and the EFL outfits has been really evident, which, I don't know, it's the financial clout, isn't it? The depth of the squad at the highest level, I'm afraid, is obviously the difference maker. I think in terms of Mansfield at Sheffield United, yeah, that's going to be an upset if they can get over the line now. The kamikaze Mansfield, always brilliant to watch. So many goals in their games under Nigel Clough, although they've been a bit tighter this season. And that just shows you that a Championship second string up against a decent League One outfit, there isn't that gap and there isn't that disparity. But unfortunately, the top teams, that power, absolutely been evident. I mean, a great example from yesterday. Burnley struggling in the Premier League up against Millwall flying, 5-1? And there was quite a few examples of that ilk. So, yeah, that's absolutely been my sentiment watching the results come in.
But then, Sam, I suppose, and to be honest with you, I don't have it in front of me how many changes Alex Neil made for Millwall yesterday. But for all we talk about rotation with Premier League sides, lower league sides will do it as well for their own particular reasons. And that may be just the simple fact of having to manage game load on players who are more often than not playing Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the realistic thing, isn't it? And the rewards on offer to make it into the Premier League across the course of the Championship season is greater reward than getting a plum tie in the 4th round, the 5th round of the FA Cup, when the reality is you're probably not going to go the whole way. There's the odd example over the years. There was the year when Portsmouth beat Cardiff, if memory serves, when the Cardiff went all the way. But the League Cup is a more realistic proposition, probably, of going really deep when the FA Cup has still got that want for the top teams to go and secure it.
Let's go back to Bramall Lane, who is on top for this last 5-6 minutes, something like that, Adam.
Yeah, into the final 6 minutes of the 90. It is Sheffield United 3, Mansfield of League One 4. And Sheffield United have certainly upped the tempo since they went 4-1 down here. Patrick Bamford's introduction has made a huge difference to them. It is the home side that are on top at the moment, but Mansfield looking to go to the 4th round for the first time since 2008, with a manager who's got know-how, having taken Sheffield United to the semi-final in 2014 when they were a League One side as well. Have excelled here at times, some wonderful attacking play. They deserve their lead, but Sheffield United are giving in everything, with 10 changes made by Chris Wilder today to try and salvage this game. It's a thriller. It's Sheffield United 3, Mansfield 4 into the final 5 minutes.
However, West Ham responded to being pegged back at the London Stadium. Aaron Paul.
We've just seen a good save from Joe Walsh from Tati Castellanos, left side of the area. The ball dropping to him. We were right behind it. He rifled it in towards goal. And Walsh, it was too hot to handle for him. He beat it away. Castellanos got a second go at it. It was blocked off the line by Jimmy Dunn. But that's the loudest we've heard the London Stadium since that equaliser for QPR by Richard Kone. I'll tell you what, Mark, in the first half, Nuno, his tactics weren't being well received. He started with a back five. There was a terrible injury to Konstantinos Mavropanos, a head injury. He was down for 9 or so minutes. He had to be stretchered off. West Ham went to a back four, and naturally that's allowed them to attack more, but it's left them far more open and susceptible on the counter, and that's where the QPR goal came from. 74 gone here at the London Stadium. West Ham 1, QPR 1.
Next FA Cup tie-up, 4:30 at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Brighton. Lee Blakeman.
3 changes for Manchester United today. Huge cheers have just greeted the announcement over the tannoy here that Kobbie Mainoo starts for just the second time this season, with Lenny Yoro and Mason Mount also coming in. Casemiro and Aidan Heaven dropped to the bench, with Luke Shaw missing out altogether. The only game he's actually missed this season so far was the League Cup game at Grimsby. The least said about that, the better. So we're expecting that to be 4-2-3-1 for United, and Darren Fletcher again here this afternoon. Brighton changed 6, with Jason Steele starting in goal. Boscagli, Veltman, Gruder, Coppola and Welbeck are the others who are given the nod by Fabian Hurtler. They're looking to build on last season's run, which saw them reach the quarter-finals of this competition, although they're currently on a run of 1 win in 8. United looking to take a step closer to a 14th FA Cup.
So as things stand, as we're led to believe, still between United's manager today, Darren Fletcher, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Michael Carrick, for who will be in charge of the team until the end of the season. We can hear from Fletcher speaking ahead of this game.
It's a massive responsibility first and foremost, so all my energy and focus has been fully on preparing the game and the team. But an FA Cup tie at Old Trafford against Brighton, it's going to be an amazing occasion, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. Most important, I'm looking forward to my team going out there and hopefully putting in a good performance.
What have you been working on the limited amount of time that you've had with the players? You spoke about, the conceding goals and also the confidence levels as well.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to work on that in the meantime, but just reiterating what good players they are and how they have to stick together in these situations, and trying to get them onto the pitch where they can utilise their skills, their potential, showcase their abilities within the team framework. So preparing them to understand we'll have a platform, we'll have tactics, we'll have a game plan, but within that you've got to use your player instincts as a player. You've got to go and express yourself, you've got to go and feel the game, and ultimately take responsibility yourself. We've got a lot of experienced players out there. They see things happening, they know what to look for, so a lot of responsibility, and go and express yourself.
You made 3 changes today. Shesko comes in obviously after his couple of goals, Yoro and also Kobbie Mainoo back in the starting lineup. How has he been off the pitch, and do you feel he's enjoying the current setup?
It was hard to tell with Kobbie. He doesn't give much away, but he knows us, and he's trained well. So he knows me and Travis Binion, the under-21s coach. He was his under-18s manager. And I think the biggest thing today was these players have had a busy schedule. The Christmas period's been a real push for them with the games and the minutes, and we've had players away at AFCON and injuries, so it's been a skeleton squad, and these lads have put in a lot of effort. It was a 3-game week, so just as much as possible trying to freshen up the team, but still got Casemiro on the bench with his experience who can come on and help us.
And you said, Lee, that the biggest cheer was for Kobbie Mainoo when the lineup was announced.
Yeah, literally seconds before you came to me, I was just listening to the teams get read out over the tannoy with the names coming up on the boards away to my right and left. And as soon as Kobbie Mainoo's name was announced, a huge roar came around the home sections of Old Trafford, which is packed out already. This just his second start all season, obviously made lots of headlines, or didn't make enough of them maybe, during Ruben Amorim's tenure as Manchester United manager, but it's taken Darren Fletcher just 2 games, albeit this one in the FA Cup, to give Mainoo the nod from the off.
Sam Parkin with us as well. When you listen to Darren Fletcher talking there, would it be harsh to say that his thought process seems a lot clearer than those above him?
Yeah, I don't think it would be harsh, to be honest. No, I think it's a crazy time at United. We've been saying that for a number of years. I think Darren Fletcher, I'll throw Michael Carrick in there as well. Conduct themselves very, very well. Got enormous respect for what they were as players. I think that he will make a fine coach and a fine manager, Darren Fletcher, and I think Michael Carrick too has got that experience. So I know there's a lot of talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming in, but I think those two, whatever their role may be in the short term or longer than that, would do it with dignity, and I think with a certain degree of now. So I think there would be worse ideas than giving it to Michael Carrick, because I thought he's got 100 odd games in the Championship. They would give a good degree of calm. I don't obviously buy into the narrative sometimes about having to know the club, but I think those two chaps in particular were very good professionals and no doubt understand the game very well, and will probably be a good influence on a lot of the people maybe who haven't been able to focus on the
I'm going to jump in,
hand.
Sam. I'll come back to you in a minute on United, but Arsenal have gone through this after they've won 4-1 at Fratton Park. Mikel Arteta is live with George Cummins.
Thanks, Mark. Mikel, into round 4, what do you make of it?
Well, very happy. We knew it was going to be tough. We started the game exactly in the manner that we didn't want to, giving them hope, momentum, and an early goal. So after that, we had to fight it back, and we had moments that in the first half that we didn't flow as much as we wanted. But the moment that we started to understand better and be a bit more efficient, and the simplicity took over, then the margins become bigger because of the quality that we have.
How can you be top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, and then you start as slow as you did? What was the reason behind that?
It's not as low. Sometimes credit to opposition. I mean, they were really direct. They pressed high. They got some success from it, and we weren't that good. We tried to warn them, because I have experienced that in both ways, and it's a lot to play. It's not only, in my opinion, being in the next round, but it's your reputation, the reputation of the club, because the expectation is clear. You have to be through when you play a team in a different division.
Martinelli hat-trick, he's been in headlines this week. Just what's your response to his performance today?
Well, great. He reacted in the right manner. I think the way that Arne Slot spoke after the game and gave his opinion on Gavi's situation, and the fact that he had no intention to harm anybody, I think explains probably better than anybody else what football is and how a footballer feels about their colleagues.
You're getting into the deep bit of the season. You've got Kai Havertz back after 150 days out. Just what will he bring to you for the last 4 months?
Yeah, a lot of positives are part of the win. Kai coming back after such a long time, and you can see straight away the influence that he has in the team. Marley making his debut as well in the competition, which is great, and a lot of players making 10 changes. Always the cohesion is never the same, and you could sense that especially in certain moments. But overall, good night. Let's go home and start to prepare Stamford Bridge.
Just a word on Bukayo Saka. He's been in the papers a lot for the last few days about a new contract. I just wondered if you've got anything to say to that, whether he's extending his deal with Arsenal.
I think when we have something to announce, we will do it as soon as possible.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Thank you.
Mikel, what was the most pleasing aspect of the performance in that second half?
Mikel Arteta live with George Cummins at Fratton Park. Arsenal through 4-1 earlier, Leeds through against Derby by 3-1. Let's go round the grounds. We'll start at Sheffield United, who are still 4-3 down. Adam Cottier.
Into the 4th minute of 6 added on here. Sheffield United are trying their best to equalise here. They've had a number of close calls. Liam Roberts, who made headlines in the FA Cup for the wrong reasons last season whilst playing for Millwall, has stood firm. They've had a penalty shout in this game, Sheffield United, but Mansfield, who've scored 4 exceptional goals, are holding on for a famous win here at Bramall Lane. Their manager facing his former club, Nigel Clough, about to lead possibly Mansfield into round 4. They lead 4-3.
West Ham headed for extra time as things stand. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, but they've had a great chance to Tati Castellanos. He was played in by Tadibo, just rolled the ball on towards the edge of the D, let rip with a right-footed shot. It was an absolute screamer, and it was beaten away high up into the stand behind him by Joe Walsh in the QPR goal. And West Ham just starting to turn the screw somewhat. They've gone back to that back 5, controlling things well. Can they find a winner? West Ham 1, QPR 1.
Mansfield have got the ball exactly where they want it. They're in Sheffield United territory, deep in Sheffield United territory. I think they may have just won a corner, Adam.
They have, Mark. They have under 90 seconds to see this out. They lead 4-3. They led 4-1 in the 57th minute. They've got nearly 5,000 of their supporters behind the goal they're attacking here. Mansfield have not been to round 4 since 2008. Their manager, Nigel Clough, has significant know-how, the fourth longest serving manager in English football. His team have played some exceptional attacking football. It's been an intrepid performance from them. Sheffield United have won the ball back from the short corner and will launch an attack here. We're into the final minute of added time, and Riedewald is going to send one forward from the halfway line. Up go the heads of Mansfield. It's going to drop into the left back position, and McLaughlin, who turns and spins and fires it upfield. Soggy wet conditions here at Bramall Lane. A classic, almost old school FA Cup tie this has been. Spectacular goals, great drama, and Sheffield United will go again from the halfway line. The heads go up once more. Bamford's in the penalty area. Mansfield battling for it. It comes out to Harmer, back heel, and then Riedewald goes down. No penalty again from the referee, Gavin Ward. Final 10 seconds. Sheffield United have a throw in. It goes back towards halfway line, but Mansfield steal it back, and they'll just whack it over the halfway line. The referee checks his watch and blows the final whistle. That is the noise of the Mansfield supporters. They took a 4-1 lead in this game after two spectacular first half goals from the former Sheffield United midfielder Lewis Reed, either side of a Gus Harmer equaliser in that first 45 minutes. Lucas Akins' right foot shot made it 3-1. Rhys Oates' magnificent skill and finish made it 4. Patrick Bamford came on and poked in a goal for Sheffield United before an own goal made it very nervous for Mansfield, but they hold out a rare upset on this FA Cup third round weekend. Mansfield of League One beat Championship Sheffield United at Bramall Lane by 4-3.
He doesn't look overjoyed at that, Nigel Clough, as he walks onto the pitch shaking his head and chuntering. I think he probably thinks that was a bit closer than it ought to have been, considering they were 4-1 up. And not just Nigel Clough here, but the whole setup at Mansfield, Sam. Do you think they get the credit they deserve outside of Mansfield?
He probably doesn't, Nigel Clough. I think it took them a few years, so maybe that was the sentiment, that having thrown money at it and accumulated good squads and paid good wages and been able to accrue good managers, that they maybe should have made the climb into League One and possibly be knocking on the Championship slightly earlier. But no, he's excellent manager. It's difficult not to like Nigel Clough if you're ever in his company, and he does it differently from the majority now, which is refreshing in a way. It's quite old school. I'd imagine there's quite a lot of similarities to how his dad used to do it. For example, it's all about man management, giving the trust to the players. It's a rarity to see so many 30-year-olds taken to a field in professional football in this day and age. He loves the experienced lads. And yeah, there is that kind of element to their play that they'll go and outscore the opposition. I had a little look before I came on air, and there was 136 goals in their games last year. 2.8 goals a game. It's down sufficiently this year to suggest that maybe he's had a little look at that, but they're always good value. And some great stories there, because of course he was a former Sheffield United manager, and Lewis Reed, I believe, is the youngest ever Sheffield United player, so great to see him get the two.
But the other thing, Sam, just one more on them is, even when they go through sticky spells, as a lot of clubs tend to do in League One, really, don't they? They don't panic.
No,
the owners don't panic. Nobody sees bad. They put faith in he'll get them out of it.
Yeah, I think there has been a good relationship with him, because previous managers with a big budget obviously tried and failed. So they have stuck with Nigel Clough, and there has been quite a lot of churn this year. It's not a lot of the same names maybe that he's been deploying across the last few campaigns, but still the likes of Akins, who's obviously been perennially a Nigel Clough player, and Rhys Oates looks to have been a difference maker today, and I think that's 4 in 4 years now. He is lightning quick, so if he can remain fit, that's been his biggest issue. Maybe they could have a really good second half of the season, and in time, maybe not this year, but they could have a crack at maybe getting into the second tier, which would be, again, really refreshing.
Mansfield into the fourth round. Draw 6:30 Monday evening. Norwich will be there as well. Paul Scott.
They have dominated Walsall. One-way traffic here at Carrow Road. Despite struggling in the league, Championship Norwich through to round 4 at the expense of League 2 Walsall. Maciej Jurasek sent them on their way. Jovan Makama made it 2-0 before half-time. He then scored twice in the opening 10 minutes of the second half to complete his hat-trick. Walsall pulled one back in style through the substitute Courtney Clark, but Norwich got a fifth in stoppage time. Liam Gibbs with a decisive through ball. Tony Springett with a finish off the inside of the post. They've struggled at home this season, Norwich. They're in the relegation zone in the Championship, but they're through to round 4. They've beaten Walsall by 5-1.
West Ham and QPR got a couple of minutes of normal time to go. They're level at 1-1. Hull and Blackburn deep in second half stoppage time. They're level at 0-0. Swansea West Brom definitely going to extra time. They are level at 1-1. Sam Parkin is with us. Phil Jones, part of Match of the Day tonight. All the FA Cup highlights, 10:30 on BBC One. You will have just seen, Phil, on your monitor in the Match of the Day office, Darren Fletcher walking down that Old Trafford touchline. He looks like a very proud man this afternoon.
Yeah, no, he'll be really honoured to take the team today. Big game for him. Big game for the players, chance to show up. They're already out of one cup competition, so it's important that they progress in the next round. Obviously difficult times at the minute. I think it was very evident that the manager was going to lose his job, but it's an opportunity for Darren, and I'm sure if he gets it to the end of the season, he'll do more than he'll be more than capable of doing the job.
If it was evident that he was going to lose his job, do you think they ought to have been better prepared for what they were going to do next?
Potentially. I think I think that they'll get an interim manager in for the rest of the season. I think that's been well documented, and I think if it is Fletcher, he'll do a great job. If it's not, I think they'll bring someone in who obviously knows the club really well, just like they did with Ollie when the manager lost his job a few years ago. So look, whoever comes in, they need to make sure that they finish in the Europa League space minimum this season, and have a good cup competition. And a game like today is an important one for them.
Do you know who it's going to be?
I wish I did, Choppers.
Philip, come on.
I wish I did.
Come on, all three of them are going to be in your phone.
I wish.
Who would you lean towards? And I know that might be difficult because you know them all, but
yeah, look, I mean, Ollie did a great job when he came back in. I remember the game when we played Cardiff when the manager got sacked and Ollie came in, and it was shackles off. We played with so much energy and intensity and aggression, and we enjoyed playing again. We enjoyed the game, and he was brilliant managing. And Michael Carrick took over with Kieran alongside him, and them two were terrific on the grass, and they sort of worked really well, those three. But it will be interesting to see who they bring on. If Ollie comes in, it'll be interesting to see who he brings with him. Does Darren Fletcher stay on with him? I think he possibly might do. Who knows? But this is an important game for Man United today.
Do you think, for even though he achieved what he did at the club as a player and is loved for that, do you think Solskjaer would be a harder sell to the fan base because he has done it before and been got rid of?
Potentially, but I think what you've got to look at is the progression that we had when he took over from the start. I know he obviously did really well, and then they gave him a job on a permanent basis. But the sort of the run we went on, I think it was like 12 games in a row where we didn't get beat, and we were really in form. We were playing like Man United should play, and everyone was talking really highly of us again. And I think the way that he managed to change that around and that narrative around maybe is what they're thinking at the minute.
Sam, for what Carrick did at Middlesbrough, would that help United?
It's very different, isn't it? Propositions. I just think he's got not vast experience, but he's got the experience of taking 2 seasons. I think he sorted out a bit of a mess initially at Middlesbrough, which there'll be similarities at that, albeit much different clubs. And he put together a really exciting time. Interesting hearing Phil mention Kieran McKenna there, because I know that his stock will have fallen a little bit given what happened to Ipswich last year. But if there was another time and another place, he could potentially be part of that setup as well, with the experience that he's accrued in the Premier League with Ipswich, great success as well. So he's another name maybe not to discount, although with Ipswich going phenomenally well at the moment, I'm not talking about maybe as the number one, but as part of a setup at some point. But yeah, I just think Michael Carrick's got that experience now. My honest opinion, I know what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a huge hero though, and did well for a spell, but I don't see too many differences between the two, at this point, if they were going to go for one or the other.
Do you think they could make a judgment on this game, Phil? If United win and win well, then does that tip them in one direction, and if they lose, does that tip them in another?
Well, I think it'll definitely add to their opinion on what they're going to do. Of course, if he wins comfortably today and convincingly and they play well, I'll let you talk to this. Looks like they're in.
Well, Lee Blakeman.
Ball over the top. Darlow got in behind. Flag stayed down. Just the keeper to beat, and that was a good save by Jason Steele. And now Mainu, and now Mount is being forced further back. But that was a big chance for Darlow. Mount into the area left side, pulls it back this time, and that's going to be cleared away by Jorginho Rutter. Remember, no VAR in rounds 3 or rounds 4. The flag stayed down, so that would have been a chance. And Darlow again here. Good start by United. Clears the crossbar. Manchester United 0, Brighton 0.
You're very settled into this punditry game, Phil, aren't you? Know when to talk and when to shut.
I learnt from the best choppers.
What, Dion alongside you? Yes. Do you think it will then tip them one way or the other?
I definitely think it'll help. Look, if he gets a convincing win today, and they've started really well in this game and they're aggressive, I think it can definitely help him. Look, I think if they gave it to Darren for the rest of the season, I don't see any problem with that. I think he's more than capable of taking the team. I think he's got the right support network around him to do that, and I think the players will have so much respect for a player who's played at the highest level for this club, and knows what it takes to be in that dressing room and go through those challenging moments and periods of the season. So listen, if they give it to him, then I think they'll be more than fine.
Thank you, Phil. And if you get a text from one of the three of them,
I'll let you know.
Let us know. Thank you.
No problem.
Phil Jones, part of Match of the Day FA Cup highlights tonight. Dion alongside him, Kelly Summers in the chair for that to the London Stadium. Oh dear, Aaron Paul.
Mama, I'm just looking around. There are hordes and floods of people heading towards the exits. I'm wondering, do they realise there's extra time to be played? There's no notifications on any of the big screens at either end of the London Stadium. Look, we are heading to extra time either way, and I will be here for it. It's finished West Ham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Crescencio Somerville's excellent opener in the first half, cancelled out by a fabulous Richard Kone header. And for both of these sides, extra time is not what they want. Both struggling with injuries. West Ham losing Konstantinos Mavropanos at the back. Koki Sato going off early for QPR, who are absolutely ravaged. West Ham have had chances. Castellanos has actually been excellent up front, forcing a couple of really good saves out of Joe Walsh in the Rangers goal. Crescencio Somerville had an effort blocked over, and Thomas Souček saw a header cleared off the line by Richard Kone. QPR happy to sit in, happy to break through Paul Smith down the left, but fundamentally it's not job done for either of these sides, and we will play another half an hour. In front of how many though, I do not know, because I can see all these white seats popping up. I'm not sure where everyone's going. West Ham 1, QPR 1.
They're already into extra time at Swansea. Laura Kenyon.
We are at Swansea 1, West Brom 1. That was the score after 90 minutes. Goals from Ji Sung-om and Josh Maja. And that scoreline remains by a whisper, because Malik Yalkoué has just hit the post for Swansea. Both sides have already used a load of subs, so not a huge amount of scope for fresh legs the deeper we go. And West Brom have a player down within the box receiving treatment. Swansea are threatening. We are 8 minutes into extra time. It's 1-1.
Rob Law is sitting through another half hour of Hull Blackburn.
Yes, the 6,627 inside the MKM can barely contain their excitement, Mark. They've had one shot on target all game. Liam Miller going close in the first half, but for a good save from Tote in the Blackburn goal. Akintola then had a chance to win it right at the death, but he fluffed his opportunity at the back post. It has been that kind of afternoon. It's 0-0.
Hearts played the whole of the second half at Dundee with 10 men, and they won by a goal to 0. It means they are 6 points clear of Celtic and Rangers. Rangers can cut the gap though at Aberdeen. Martin Dowden.
Yeah, 6 minutes on the clock here. It's Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0. Rangers looking to extend their winning league run to 5 against an Aberdeen side they defeated 2-0 fairly comfortably in Glasgow midweek. 4 changes for the home side, 1 enforced for Rangers with Taylor Asgard replacing the injured Conor Barron. No place in the squad for new signing Tochi Chukwuani, who signed from Sturm Graz earlier today. Another very important fixture in this topsy-turvy title race in Scotland.
Thank you. We'll keep you up to date with that. Sean Murphy out of the Masters snooker, Jamie Broughton.
Yeah, a big shock defeat for the defending champion. He was beaten by 6 frames to 2 by the Chinese debutant Wu Yize. Murphy has just said in his post-match TV interview that it was possibly his worst ever performance at the Masters. He certainly was below par this afternoon, so disappointment for him. As for Yize, though, he's now through to the quarter-finals, where he'll play the winner of tonight's match between Mark Selby and Zhao Guodong. Selby is a 3-time Masters champion, while Guodong will be making his debut, so it promises to be a proud moment when he's introduced to the crowd tonight.
One-way traffic at Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
And Jason Steele's just had to make another save to keep it at Manchester United 0, Brighton 0. Bruno Fernandes received the ball back from Kobbie Mainoo from a free kick 25 yards out, tried the curler towards the bottom corner. Steele watched it well to palm it behind the post. Chaos from the resulting corner, but it couldn't be turned goalwards. Manchester United 0, Brighton 0, although Ruter here plays a through ball, and that's turned behind for a Brighton corner, end to end now.
Thank you. Let's talk Rugby Union Champions Cup weekend at 5:30. What a clash this is. Saracens against Toulouse. Will be on Sports Extra with the 2 Chris's, Jones and Ashton. Let's deal with the game that you are going to see in front of you before we look at what else has happened today. And maybe last night as well. This is mouth-watering, isn't it?
Yeah, huge, isn't it? Toulouse, to many, I think, the greatest club side in the world of all time, 6 times winners of this competition. And some French teams, they can take or leave it. They can prioritise their domestic competition, not Toulouse. They've got the pedigree and the squad depth and the culture to fight on both fronts. But I've just been down in the tunnel here at the Stonex, and they've decked it all out in Toulouse gear. So when you run through the tunnel, the Toulouse players will go through kind of a Toulouse-type ticker tape. Their fans have come in their hundreds over to the left corner, and with Antoine Dupont and Jack Willis and great players from France and all around the world, they mean business. But so do Saracens as well. Mark McCall chatting to us in the week, he read the team the riot act after they were very meek against the Leicester Tigers. Both teams have lost once in this competition, chappers, so if they have any designs on topping the pool and getting a smooth passage through the knockout stages, a win today for both an absolute non-negotiable.
The Telegraph, Chris Ashton, have called the performance at Leicester for Sarries, they called it today ragged, rusty and ropey. What's going on?
What is going on, chappers? Good question. I think they've got a really good group of younger players that aren't quite ready yet to play. I think the whole hanging the hat on these lads coming through and getting ready. They've not probably settled on a back line fully. It's not been able to get firing and scoring tries, which like we're used to. They've just not been able to get the rhythm. Back row, the same. They've got so many back row players, but they can't seem to find the right balance of how they want to play the game. Do they want to be physical and go through the middle, or do they want to play like a Northampton Saints as fast and quick hands and ball movement? They don't really seem to this season have nailed down how they want to go about winning games.
What does Mark McCall need to do then?
He needs to get results fast. I think he's not a kind of guy. He's had so much success here, and you get used to that. And he's a fantastic coach, but it's been a while, since he's probably looked at his team and not been able to just nail down his first 15 of how he wants to go about playing it. He's got a lot of experienced players in there. I don't think they've been performing too well either. Jamie George, Elliot Daly, Owen Farrell's probably not found his best form yet for Saracens this season. I think there's got a bit on the experienced lads and a bit on the younger boys. Get them up to level quickly so they can start playing at a certain standard of rugby that they can all enjoy.
And Chris Jones, he himself cuts a frustrated figure.
Mark McCall?
Yeah, not Chris Ashton next to you. Yeah, well,
yeah.
he may be cutting a frustrated figure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Donald Fletcher will be encouraged by what he's seen so far for Manchester United. Chances, certainly one from Dallow that perhaps should have resulted in more than it did. But Brighton for the first time just starting to have a little bit of possession in the match. Hinshelwood forced back to Jason Steele. Now it's fizzed out to the left to Veltman, who's got space to drive forward. Slides it to Welbeck. He takes it to the byline, clips it up into the middle. It's a free header. It's cleared off the line by Martinez, but Brighton have scored, and it's Brian Gruder. Welbeck did some great work there, taking the ball to the byline, clipped it up. It was a free header in the area. It was cleared off the line by Martinez, but only as far as Gruder, and he fired it home. There was nothing anyone in a Manchester United shirt could do about that. The German's third goal of the season, but it was Kadioglu's initial run. He found Welbeck running in behind, but Rutter, in acres of space in the middle, got a header goalwards. It was cleared off the line by Martinez, but only as far as Gruder, and from 8 yards out, all he had to do was get power on it, and no one was stopping it, and that's exactly what he did, left-footed. And inside 12 minutes at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, and Brighton's recent good record at Old Trafford might well continue. Good foot in by Martinez. And actually the referee said there's a foul. He played an advantage initially, but it was a foul by Martinez on Rutter. So a free kick for Brighton just inside the United half. Man United haven't lost in the third round of the FA Cup for more than 10 years. Swansea beat them 2-1 in 2014. In fact, they've only lost in the third round twice in the last 40 years, so not often beaten at this stage. But despite starting relatively well, they find themselves behind here. Ugarte, surrounded by three in Brighton blue and white, goes back to Yoro, who then uses Lamans. Oh, and Lamans has given the ball away, and it's a gift to Welbeck. And Welbeck fires it goalwards, the keeper saves it, and then Rutter puts it over the bar. And that should have been 2-0. Almost a howler from the Manchester United goalkeeper, trying to pass it out from the back. He passed it straight to Danny Welbeck. Inside the box, Welbeck didn't quite get the cleanest of connections on his shot, and that enabled Lamans to get across and save. Rutter was offside anyway, so although he missed the rebound, it wouldn't have counted. That was a glorious chance for Danny Welbeck to return to haunt Manchester United. And he spares the blushes of Lamans as now Ugarte comes forward. He's got Mason Mount with him, can't find him. And Brighton are able to pass their way out of trouble. Here's Mount. Kadioglu's all over the back of him. Now Ugarte, but the referee says there was a rolling ball, so the free kick will need to be retaken. Simon Hooper, the referee today. Here's Martinez. Clips it forward, looking for Šeško. That's a lovely ball from Lisandro Martinez, and Šeško tried to lob the goalkeeper first time. Didn't get enough on it, and it lobbed straight into the breadbasket of Jason Steele, but it was a lovely ball by Martinez, lovely weight on it, and Šeško under pressure from 2, probably did the right thing in taking it first time, just didn't get the contact he needed on it to lift it over Jason Steele. Now Bruno Fernandes makes a run forward, tracked by Coppola, forces him out to the corner, and then it's cleared out for a throw-in. Cunha back to Bruno Fernandes. Now Patrick Dorgu, just up from the edge of the penalty area. Fernandes shapes the cross but slides it over to Cunha. Cunha will shoot, hits it well, but it's a yard over the crossbar. Good intent from Bruno Fernandes and Cunha. He was stretching for it, slightly got under it, under pressure from Hinshelwood. It's a Brighton goal kick. Steele, the goalkeeper, plays it up towards Gomez. Manchester United win it back in midfield initially, but then Bruder's nipped in and won it off Cunha. Cunha, though, bites back at him and wins it back, but then gets it caught under his feet, and it's a throw into Brighton on the halfway line. Lively opening 17.5 minutes. 5 shots from both sides. 3 on target for each. And 1 has ended up in a goal for Brighton. Rutter has his pocket picked by Ugarte. Now Dorgu turns out of trouble. Manchester United just can't get away from the Brighton press in their own half there. Hinshelwood wins the ball back and Brighton will recycle possession. The ball is put out of play as Dorgu is down. He's now got back to his feet. Was involved in an incident in midweek was Dorgu. Kyle Walker appeared to stamp on him, but that went unpunished. Manchester United throw the ball back in play to Brighton, who'd put the ball out. Now Manchester United have a free kick inside the Brighton half. Crossfield pass looking for Mount on the right, has got too much on it. Now Ugarte plays it into Cunha, but Brighton not giving Manchester United much time on the ball in that middle area. Mainu rides through a couple of challenges and then pokes out to Dorgu. Got a bit too much on the pass, has forced Dorgu quite wide. Veltman shuts him down. Dorgu plays it back to Menu, who's got room to cross, and he curls one in. It's just too high for Cunha, who got something on it, but just helped it on its way out of play. Free kick to Brighton. They'll send men up from the back for this one. A chance for them to get the ball into the box. And when they've done that in the match so far, it's come up trumps for them. Coppola up from the back. Gross and the goal scorer Bruder are over it. Bruder it is, headed out by Yoro, and a good hit from Veltman, right-footed from 25 yards. Got the power on it, just not the direction. Was a good 3 or 4 yards wide of Lamon's right-hand post. Manchester United bring the ball forward then through Lenny Yoro. Now Dallo plays the ball down the right channel for Shesko, who's offside. Gruder penalised for a foul in midfield. That's now Mainu, the deepest player on the pitch for Manchester United at the moment. He's sat in between the two centre halves. Strokes it left to Martinez, who clips it up the line, the left channel, looking for Bruno Fernandes, who'd made a good run. And he's won a corner. The Brighton fullback, Veltman, went down very easily under little contact from Bruno Fernandes, and the referee has sided with the Manchester United captain, and as a result, it's a cheap corner for Manchester United, and it comes from Bruno Fernandes straight to Steele. We'll bowl it out quickly for Rutter. He's got Gruder in front of him. Gruder's one-on-one with Ugarte, though, who covers it well and plays it back to Lamons. Now Cunha. Bring the ball on the right hand side, goes on the outside of his man, whips it in dangerously. He'll have wanted more players to be attacking that ball, but as it is, Coppola has to clear, and he clears it high and behind. It lands on the roof of the net, so it'll be a Manchester United corner, but it was a good ball in from Cunha, but Shesko wasn't really up there with the play. He was hanging back a little bit, and there wasn't anyone really in Manchester United red to get on the end of that. Coppola, who wasn't to know, diverted it behind. It's going to be Lisandro Martinez to take the corner, in swinging with his left foot from the United right hand side. In it comes from the Argentine. Dallo's in there. It's headed half out. Ugarte will keep it alive. Shesko's at the back post, but he's seen off by Veltman. It'd be a Brighton goal kick. Dorgu at left back for United, put under pressure from Welbeck, but he gets away. Looked like he was running into trouble slightly there, Dorgu, but he's found an outlet in Dallo. Some good early chances, Manchester United. Dallo certainly with the best one through on goal, well saved by Steele, who also saved from Bruno Fernandes. But it was It's Brighton that have found the only goal of the game so far. Last 5 minutes though, Man United have had 72% possession. Here's Šeško running in and out the penalty box, then finds Doug on the left hand side. He sees a run by Mainu, takes him to the byline, stood up by Veltman, but tries to find space for a cross. Instead plays it inside to Martinez, and Martinez rides a tackle, gets a shot away. That's well blocked. An excellent block, in fact, by Buscagli. And Brighton are able to clear. Martinez rode the first tackle really well and had space to shoot in the box, but a diving block from Buscagli saved Steele from having to do any more work. Nice full-blooded tackle in midfield there between Gross and Mainu. That was a 50-50, and the ball's come away in favour of Brighton. Welbeck has some room to drive forward inside the Manchester United half. Finds Kadioglu on his right-hand side. Now room for Gruder on the right. He sets it back for Hinshelwood. He clips it in just too high for Rutter. And, well, Manchester United should have cleared it, and they will eventually via Cunha. Lamans goes long, flicked on by Šeško, but to nobody in a red shirt. And Brighton back in possession. They'll just perhaps want to retain possession for a while, Brighton here, because Manchester United have been putting the squeeze on them slightly in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but an attempted flick link up between Gomez and Welbeck breaks down, and then there's a foul by Buscagli on Cunha, which will result in a Manchester United free kick 10 yards into the Brighton half. Lewis Dunk on the bench for Brighton. 6 changes to the side that drew at Manchester City in midweek. And it's going well for them so far. Here's Dorgu to Cunha. Plays it off Coppola for a throw-in. These two did meet in the FA Cup final in 1983. They even had replays. Well, we don't have replays at all now, but we had replays in the final back then because it was a 2-2 draw, and United ended up winning the second game 4-0. Brian Robson scoring 2. That was Brighton's first ever cup final appearance. As Cunha picks up the ball in between the lines, finds Bruno Fernandes. Now Dalot might shoot here from 25 yards. No, he passes it out to Mount instead. Mount's initial cross is blocked. His second cross isn't the best, and it's cleared by Buscagli. Ugarte snuffs out any hope of a Brighton counter-attack, and United instead come forward with Dalot. His cross looking for Šeško is well headed away by Veltman. And now Rutter and Gruder bring it out down the right-hand side for Brighton. Now Gross, the space on the left for Kadioglu, who's got away from Mason Mount. Level with the edge of the penalty area at the United end. Here's Gross. Time to cross. Well, Rutter and Dorgu having almost in a bit of a tangle at the back post, and Rutter looked like he'd got goal side of the Manchester United left back for a moment, but in the end United are able to clear. Rutter finds Hinshelwood, who's going backwards, if anything. Coppola now to Buscagli, now out to Pascal Gross. He's allowed to drive forward, and now Kadioglu got in behind Mount again, and his pullback was dangerous. And in fact, I think the flag's gone up for offside against Kadioglu, which is unfortunate for Brighton. It was a tight call. But Mount, who got caught out for the goal, was nearly caught out again there. Here he is now on the ball, Mason Mount. Finds Dallow, who plays it off Welbeck for a throw-in in front of the dugouts at Old Trafford. Where Darren Fletcher is surveying what's going on in front of him. Well, given the no European competition this year, already out of the League Cup, of course, an early exit from the FA Cup is definitely not what Manchester United need. They got to the 5th round last year, were beaten by Fulham on penalties. Won it in 2024 under Erik ten Hag. Agate allowed to run forward through the centre circle. Then finds Bruno Fernandes. Now Lisandro Martinez. Out to Dorgu. Dorgu, nice sharp pass to Martinez. Martinez beats the ball to the byline. Steele well alert to it and blocks Martinez's cross. He's got forward as Martinez from left centre back. And he did really well. But Steele again alert to what was going on. Got his body, spread his body well. Nice nice bit of play again by Martinez in attack to find Cunha, who has it at the corner of the penalty area. Shapes to cross, dummies it, and then, well, it's a sloppy pass. Only finds Welbeck, but Fernandes wins it back, and now Fernandes has space on the edge of the box. Shoots. It's charged down. And then Veltman is able... Well, it ricochets more than anything off Veltman's left foot and into the arms of Steele. Here's Bruno Fernandes again. He can turn and... Oh, he tried a sharp through ball to Šeško, who just couldn't quite bring it in. Appeal handball. Fernandes off the on that last attack. The ball struck the arm of Buscagli, or the elbow of Buscagli, but it was very much tucked inside of his body. Certainly not a penalty. Now Mainu rides a tackle in midfield, but then loses out, and now Rutter will slide it through to Gruda, the goal scorer. He's able to go on further than maybe Manchester United would have liked, and then across. He stood up towards the back post. Dallow has done well to head it away without conceding a corner. Buscagli, that cross is a little bit targetless, but then Dorgu slips in trying to clear it, and Gruda has the ball back now on the right wing for Brighton. He'll back Dorgu up towards the penalty area. Slides it back to Veltman. Now Gruda. He tries to sidestep Ugarte and goes down. And now Šeško is through on goal with a long ball. Steele 30 yards out of his goal. Again, the goalkeeper. You have to say he's had an excellent first half of Brighton. Well positioned. Headed the ball away. Because Šeško had beaten the offside trap. Got goal side of two Brighton defenders. And if not for Steele's positioning, Šeško surely would have had a good chance of getting a shot on goal. Now Dallow keeps the ball alive in the Brighton penalty area, but it's cleared by Gross. Mainu and Yoro play a 1-2. Yoro forced back to Lamens. Now Lisandro Martinez to Lenny Yoro. Yoro clips it up towards Šeško. Headed clear by Buscagli. Well tidied up initially by Gross, but then Hinshelwood's giving it straight back to Ugarte. Now Mount, everything pretty central for Manchester United here. Mount eventually finds Dorgu riding the left side of the penalty area from a Manchester United point of view. And in the end, Bruno Fernandes loses out to Rutter, but Dorgu wins it back. Mainu slides it out right for Šeško, who's offside. Some frustration for Manchester United's players there. Here's Gross down the left side to Kadioglu. Plays it back to Steele. Last 7.5 minutes of normal time in the first half. Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Brian Gruder with the goal. Two in two for him in cup matches this season. He scored one in the EFL Cup earlier in the campaign, in his only appearance in that, in the 6-0 win away at Oxford United back in August. His only Premier League goal this season against Manchester City in their home fixture, also in August. And as mentioned earlier, United face City in their next game next Saturday. Here's Kadioglu on the left for Brighton. Back in Dalot towards the box. Wicked left foot cross. It's half cleared by Yoro, then helped further away by Ugarte. Chance still there though for Brighton. Welbeck touches slightly heavy, finds Gruder. Nice 1-2. Welbeck to the byline, fires into the side netting. Lamans did enough to put him off there, but maybe concern for Manchester United at how easy Brighton found it there just to play through them in their own penalty area. It was a 1-2 between Gruder and Welbeck. Lamans actually did well not to concede a corner. But it's been an entertaining first half. Nice spot by Dalot, finds Bruno Fernandes, who's running forward, slides it through for Šeško. Šeško, oh, he's gone down and he's being pulled down illegally, says the referee. Veltman, the man judged to have fouled him. But it was a lovely find by Dalot, and Bruno Fernandes then was striving forward. Šeško was on his own. Managed to win a free kick, which is just to the right of centre. 25 yards from goal. They had a little bit of a routine earlier, Fernandes and Mainu. That was more to get the ball closer to Jason Steele's goal, and they managed to get a low shot in that Steele saved. This one's certainly much better position for a direct shot at goal, and you would expect that's what Bruno Fernandes has got on his mind. Did score a direct free kick at Old Trafford against Bournemouth in the Premier League last month. Here he comes, he's gone low, tried to sneak it in to Steele's bottom left corner and didn't manage it. It went under the wall almost. Well, it did go under the wall, the free kick, but clever from Bruno Fernandes, but his radar was a yard or two too far to the right. Mainu wins the ball back off Welbeck. Good battling in the midfield by both sides. Eventually it comes out for United again. Ball spread out to the right looking for Gruder. Dorgu with two headers has managed to keep it away from him. Was playing head tennis with himself, Dorgu there for a moment. Now Yoro plays it to Mount. Now Fernandes tight to the right touchline, back to Mount. Yoro again. Final 2.5 minutes of the first half here. Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Martinez almost overran it. Goes down saying he was clipped, and the referee agrees. He's stayed down, Martinez there. They almost showed a bit too much of it to Brighton, and Gross nearly accepted the invitation. Well, that ball from Fernandes is going to hold up by the byline for Dorgu. Cunha let it run, and Brighton put it behind for a corner. I don't even think Dorgu was convinced he was going to catch the ball, but there was spin on it from Fernandes, which meant it just held up by the byline. Fernandes takes this corner short quickly. I don't think his teammates were ready for it. Now Dorgu. Left foot cross towards Martinez at the back post. He heads it across goal. Šeško swings a boot at it. Doesn't get a clean connection. And then Gross manages to protect Šeško away from the ball to give enough time for Brighton to clear it. Certainly had enough looks, Manchester United, in this first half to find a goal, but they remain goalless. Martinez clips it long. Dalot, lovely first touch. His second isn't the best, and his third is even worse. He did really well to bring the ball down, Dalot, but his second touch wasn't great, and then he tried to back heel with his third to find a teammate. Had his second touch been better, I'm sure he would have been able to get a shot away. Such was his position. Here's Bruno Fernandes trying to find space out wide. He clips it to Mount, who can't keep it in by the byline, and it'll be a Brighton goal kick. Just 1 minute added on at the end of the first half. Steele. Now Bruno Fernandes plays it out left foot. Cunha. What a moment this would be for United to score. Veltman slips. Cunha tries to sneak it in. Low to Steele's right. Steele at full stretch. Watches it go wide. And that might be that for the first half. Veltman slipped as Cunha went inside him. Steele had it covered. He's played well, the Brighton goalkeeper. But another chance for Manchester United at the end of the half. And I think that'll be the last bit of play we see in the first half at Old Trafford. Whistle. United had chances early doors, but it was Brighton who broke the deadlock after 12 minutes when Brian Gruder fired home the rebound after Rutter's header had been cleared off the line by Alessandro Martinez after a pullback from former United forward Danny Welbeck. Brighton have never beaten Manchester United in the FA Cup, but after 45 minutes they have the edge. The half-time score at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion.
Step up to take their fourth penalty, and that one is buried as well by the number 10, Carlin Grant. We are 4-4 on penalties here.
Whoa, let's go to Hull Blackburn. Rob Law.
It's 2 apiece on penalties. That's after Blackburn saw Yukio Hashi, his first spot kick saved. Baraji, his was also saved. Lewis Coyles for Hull was saved by Tourt. Carl Joseph and Ollie McBurnley scored for Hull before Gardner Hickman and Sean McLaughlin buried from the spot. So 2 apiece as it stands.
Thank you so much. West Ham QPR full-time, Aaron.
Yeah, all over West Ham 2, QPR 1. A big win for Nuno and the Hammers, who made very hard work of it. Crescencio Somerville opened the scoring. Richard Kone equalised for Rangers, but the Championship side's lack of squad availability was their biggest Achilles heel, and West Ham ground them down in extra time. Somerville a class apart, pirouetting down the left, finding Tati Castellanos with a monster header to win it for the Hammers. QPR exit the FA Cup at this stage a record 53rd time. No other club has been knocked out more times at this point than Rangers. What this does to Nuno's future, though, who knows? But West Ham fans will hope this first win in 10 will offer them a platform to build for Premier League survival. West Ham 2, QPR 1.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Right, Alan, you're a Mansfield fan. What a win. 4-1 up back to 4-3 Sheffield United. But Mansfield under Nigel Clough absolutely flying at the minute.
Fantastic, mate. Excellent atmosphere backed by 4,700 Stags fans. It was absolutely superb.
Yeah, Alan, what a result that is. Because to go to Sheffield United, they're in good form at the moment under Chris Wilder. So was you at the game, Alan?
Yes, I'm just coming back now with a group of Mansfield fans.
Alan, we'll come back to you in 1 second because this might be the winning penalty, Laura.
Akintola scores for Hull City to put them through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. It has been a dreadful game. It ended 0-0, went all the way through to extra time. Blackburn saw 2 of their penalties saved, but Akintola steps up from the spot to win it 4-3 on spot kicks, and Hull City progress.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'm sure it's very close. Swansea against West Bromwich Albion. Is it, Laura?
Well, we have just witnessed Bobby Wales have his penalty saved by Josh Griffiths in the West Brom goal. West Brom, if they score this, they are through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Left foot, and he skies it. Absolutely skies it. Jed Wallace over the bar. We continue here. Swansea West Brom on penalties.
Oh, wow. We'll come back to you, Laura. Right, back to you, Alan. Sorry, Al.
All right.
Yeah, good, Al. Go on then, carry on, Al. You were there and you witnessed 4,700 Stags fans. What a job Nigel Clough is doing.
It was just superb. I mean, we played really well, right to start. First 20 minutes or so, we were fairly in the game. We went 1 up, then they equalised. And then after the break, we went 3-1 up, then 4-1 up. And, you just thought there was only going to be one winner. That they came back with a goal. We had an unfortunate own goal. So it was quite tight. It was squeaky bum time for the last 15, 20 minutes. But we held out superbly, And it was a fair play to the Stags fans because it was a desired result. We were the better team, I think, on the day.
Yeah, Al, do you think now, I know it's the FA Cup, and I know, I'm going to ask you first, I'm going to ask you two, who do you want in the next round? And also, you're 12th in League One, and you're only probably, 6 or 7 points off playoffs. Do you think having a good cup run can help you, get into them playoffs in League One?
It always helps when you have a good cup run, I think, with your league form. But,
I'll just pause that thought. We've got to go back to Laura. West Brom have got a chance to win it again.
They absolutely do, because Yakue skied his effort over the bar for Swansea, and that goes into the back of the net. West Brom are through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. A thoroughly entertaining game through to the end. It shouldn't have been. Two Championship sides who meet all the time. It was 1-1 after 90 minutes, 2-2 after extra time, but West Brom, with an interim manager in the dugout, make it through to the next round of the FA Cup.
Thank you so much, Laura. We just sent a player back there to West Brom, Harry Whitwell. He was magnificent for us, but he was a first loan, done exceptionally well. West Brom have called him back. I think he's got on the pitch today as well. I see him coming on. So again, delighted for Harry, but it just goes to show, Clinton, the loan system for clubs like us, taking young players, first loans, that experience, they've called him back, and he's now playing in the FA Cup and, hopefully now in the Championship.
You know what? You're spot on, Robbie. It's playing men's football. Everyone wants to play academy football. Men's football makes you mentally strong and it's better. And now he's going to get called back to West Brom and he gets on the pitch this afternoon. Hope he gives you a phone call or a text, mate.
I wonder if he took a penalty though.
Yeah.
08085 909 693 is the number to call. Thank you so much, Alan, the Mansfield fan. Let's go to Mark, a relieved West Ham fan. How are you, Mark?
I am good, thank you. Very relieved.
2-1 win. 2-1 win.
Yes, yeah. I just wish we could do the same in the league at the minute.
Can you stay up? I think it's 4. It's going to be hard to stay up.
I don't know. I really don't know. But the one thing I do know is that, I've been a West Ham fan since I was 7, which was when England won the World Cup. Or should I say when West Ham won the World Cup, but that might be a bit biased. And every time West Ham have gone down, they've bounced straight back up the following season. And the one thing I believe that West Ham do have, and that is bounce back ability. So if they go down, which I obviously hope they don't, but if they do, you guarantee they'll bounce back up the following season.
That's a big statement, Mark. Because the championships, it's hard, and I feel like with West Ham, your recruitment. I'll be honest with you, watching a lot of West Ham games, I think your recruitment's been nowhere near good enough, and absolutely shocking. And even like your decisions of managers as well. This is what I always say about West Ham fans, and you might not like what I'm about to say now, is you're all screaming, I don't like the football under David Moyes. Sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for, because if you had that David Moyes, you wouldn't be in that position now, would you?
No, exactly. I don't know why we got rid of David Moyes in the first place, because look what he did for us in Europe. The whole of East London just went berserk, and you pointed out something to one of your callers, which I completely agree with, right? And let me just say this: I don't care what club you are managing, right? The manager can only control the team for the first and the second 45 minutes, right? And how can I put this? Yes, they can bellow out orders out over the technical area and all that, but ultimately it's down to the team. It's not down to the manager. So why are people sacking managers? Can anybody tell me that one?
Well, Robbie, I'll tell you, because he's a manager now.
I've not been sacked.
But he's not been sacked but he's been a manager, so he can help you on that one for sure.
Yeah.
So listen, we've both been players, obviously, and the manager, you can pick the team, you can watch training, and as a manager, what I've found is that, in the week, you'll see players train. And when I hear pundits, and no disrespect, because I've been a pundit when I've questioned managers, you have a much different perspective when you're a manager, because somebody might say, why isn't he playing? Or, and in a game I would do that. But there's so many reasons why, as a manager, you do things which you think is right for the group, for the harmony of the group, what you see in training. So you can pick a team to cross the white line. All you can then do is give them the tactics, change shape, make substitutions, but it's down to them with the desire, with the application. You've got to be able to. The biggest word I've found is trust. And Clinton will tell you as a player, is can you trust those players? And as you're right in a way, of course you need managers. You need managers, of course you do. But inevitably, you've done all your work in the week. And Glasner, we're talking about Crystal Palace, would have set his team up. He'd have done all the tactical analysis. He'd have done everything, like with a fine-tooth comb, everything for those players to have as much information and knowledge on the opponents. They'd have had the best recovery, the best sleep, probably a nice hotel, nice travel. They've gone out there to win a game of football. And he's picked a team which he believes to win a game. They've not done it. So for me, what more can he do in that situation, except for, as the previous West Ham caller said, if he'd have played his strongest team from the start, then took him off. That's a fair debate.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you say there, Robbie. But also, during the Palace's post-match interview, the manager for Crystal Palace did say that he was embarrassed over the result.
Yeah, but he's right to be embarrassed, Glasner, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all you need to know is he's the manager, so he'll be embarrassed because he sets up that team and picks it. So he's a reflection of his team because he's picked that starting 11. But I do agree, it's difficult, and you are right. I think it's different when you're a pundit. You can say what you want, but it's so different when you go into management. You have these hard decisions to make, and you've got to keep 18 or however big your squad is players happy, don't you, Sav? It's difficult.
So difficult. Honestly, Clint, it's so difficult. Yeah. Listen, did you ever see me as a manager?
Absolutely no chance. No. Not just because I know how good you was in the media, and I'm thinking Sav ain't going to do that because I know what he was like as a player. Yeah. So, but one thing I would say, as you as a manager, which I knew you was as a player, you'd be good at putting your arm around people and helping them. And that players need that now.
Yeah, I've not thrown any over the table like I showed you. Right then, 0825 99693 is the number to call. Noah, you're a Spurs fan. Clinton, Clinton asked for Spurs fans, so this one's for you, Clinton. Noah, here's Clinton. Hello, Noah.
Yeah.
Noah, hi, hello, Noah. How are you?
About Spurs' pressing yesterday. Oh. Hi, how are you?
Very, very well, Noah. So go on then.
Hello?
Talk us about Spurs yesterday. Hello,
yeah,
Noah?
I watched the game at home and I was just looking at Spurs' pressing when Ezri Konsa and Aston Villa centre-backs had the ball. Xavi Simons and Richarlison, they were just they weren't pressing, they were just sidestepping to where the ball was going, and Ezri Konsa was taking 4 to 6 touches because no one was pressing.
No, I think let me tell you something. I watch so much football nowadays and it infuriates me. And Rob will be able to tell you, because the one thing when we were at Birmingham City together, we would go and even though we weren't the greatest of teams, we won football matches through pure hard work. Robbie Savage would set the press and we'd all go and press with him. I watch it now. It's like players don't want to run around anymore. And I totally agree with you. I'm going to ask you a question now, mate. Do you think Thomas Frank is under huge pressure at Tottenham?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want him to stay?
I do. I want him to stay because he was so good at Brentford, Thomas Frank, and I do think he is a good manager for us. But I don't understand why he didn't play. I know it's the league is the main focus, but I don't understand why he didn't play Kudos. I don't know if he's injured or something.
Oh no, the reason he wouldn't have played him, Kudus is out until I think April. He's got a bad injury, so yeah, that's why he probably didn't play Mohamed Kudus. So yeah, that's why he hasn't played him. But you are right, he is a good manager, and he probably does need a bit of time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's out for a long time. Yeah, he's got a bad injury.
Yeah, Noah, thank you. Noah, thank you. Spoke so well, Noah. Thank you so much for the call. 08085 909 693 is the number to call. We'll get more of your calls after the news on 5 Live with Joe Hornby.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has accused the US and Israel of stirring up trouble and chaos as mass protests against the government there continue. A crackdown by security forces is thought to have left hundreds of people dead or wounded, with some hospitals telling the BBC they have been overwhelmed. 3 teenagers and a man in his 50s have died in a crash between a car and a taxi in Bolton. Greater Manchester police say the collision happened in the early hours of this morning. 5 injured passengers are in hospital. President Trump has told Cuba to make a deal with the United States before it's too late, a similar threat to those he made to the now detained Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Cuba has long been heavily reliant on Venezuelan oil, but Mr. Trump said there would no longer be oil or money going to the country. And tributes are being paid to the former EastEnders actor Derek Martin, who has died at the age of 92. He played Charlie Slater in the BBC One soap from 2000, making his final appearance in 2016. John Wilkinson has the sports.
Thank you. It is half-time between Manchester United and Brighton. The third round of the FA Cup continues. Lee Blakeman has been watching.
Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Gruder's goal is what separates.
Just near to the tunnel. Goal from Brian Gruder. After 12 minutes, the difference between the two sides. Manchester United have won all 6 previous meetings between these two sides in the FA. Brighton, they don't have a bad record in the third round either. They've progressed in 14 of the last 16 at third round ties. They last lost in the third round back in 2020 to Sheffield Wednesday. As Mainu is tripped by Gomez and has a free kick. Midway through the Brighton half, it'll give Bruno Fernandes an opportunity to curl the ball in from the right hand side. And the free kick comes from Fernandes, far too close to Steele. In fact, it was a comfortable catch for Steele, who had a good first half. Brighton's cup goalkeeper, if you like. His 4th cup appearance of the campaign. And I dare say it'll have been the best 45 minutes he's had to keep 2 clean sheets in the EFL Cup. Here's box, but the goalkeeper got back and made the save. He's lost the ball there, Welbeck to Dallow. Now Cunha. Manchester United, they have had plenty of good ball, but have often found themselves surrounded by 2 or 3 in Brighton blue and white. There's a good run forward by Cunha into the left channel. A low left foot cross is turned behind by Coppola for a Manchester United corner. The first of the second half and their 5th in total. Darren Fletcher was urging the Stretford end to make some noise as he returned to the dugout via the tunnel at half time. Man United attacking the Stretford end in this second half. Fernandes, right foot corner into a dangerous area, headed up and away by Welbeck. Dorgu finds Ugarte, well, I don't know what that was from Ugarte, but he's hammered it into touch. And Brighton might sense an opportunity on the counter-attack here with Rutter. Poor touch by him, and Ugarte wins the ball back. Now Mainu. Here's Patrick Dorgu. He's got Hinshelwood in front of him, plays it inside to Bruno Fernandes, who does well to win it away from two Brighton players. Now Alessandro Martinez. Now Ugarte to Bruno Fernandes. Digs out a long ball looking for Dalot. It's headed clear only as far as Cunha. Has to wait for it to come down. That enables Brighton to get closer. And now Dalot tries a cute pull back to Mount. That was well read by Gomez. And the ball rolls back to Steele. It's been a positive opening to the second half of Manchester United. Similar to the first half, really. Not been able to test Jason Steele, though, as yet. Fernandes wins the ball off Veltman. Now Dorgu. To Mainu. There's nothing to Mainu's right. He uses Mount. He's begging for someone on the right hand side, Mainu, and screws a pass to the left that was meant for Fernandes, but he put too much on it. But Mainu there, probably 20 yards in from the left touchline, if that, not even in the middle of the half, had nothing, no options to his right, which forced him to screw a pass to the left. He didn't get it right. United do have Casemiro on the bench, and Joshua Zirkzee, probably the most notable options available to Darren Fletcher. Johnny Evans helping him out on the staff. That's a nice touch by Gruder, and all of a sudden Brighton have got an opening here. Kadioglu's to his left. Manchester United have scrambled back well, but Kadioglu tees it up for Gross. Good foot in by Yoro, and then Kadioglu's shot is blocked. Hinshelwood might get a shot away. No, that's blocked as well, and Manchester United have scrambled well, because for a moment Brighton had opened them up, and then clever play by Bruno Fernandes releases Dalot. Dalot's pass intended for Mount is intercepted, and then Martinez heads it back to Laments. It's an open game. It's an entertaining one to watch. But as we know in cup matches, the result is everything. Cunha plays it back to Dorgu, goes down, referee not buying the free kick. Dorgu goes down again, still the referee not buying anything. Now Cunha's gone down, and eventually Manchester United do get a free kick towards the left corner. Dorgu had twice gone down looking for it under pressure from Gruder. And Veltman, and eventually it was a challenge on Cunha that persuaded the referee to give a free kick. So it's 10 yards up from the corner flag. So a good angle for Bruno Fernandes to get an in-swinger in here from the United left with his right foot. Yoro up from the back. In it comes. It's a wicked delivery, and it flicks, I think, off the thigh of Mason Mount and flies just wide of Steele's goal. Was it Mount or was it Martinez flicked a left foot out at it as well as the ball went behind him? Here's Veltman now. Manchester United looking a bit open on the counter-attack. Gruder pulled out Martinez, and then Dorgu was tripped Gruder, and Brighton now will have a chance to get an attacking free kick into the box. Gruder just caught Martinez's knee as he fell to ground. He's alright though. But well, a second goal for Brighton would really put them in control of this cup tie. The fourth round draw tomorrow night, prior to the Liverpool-Barnsley game, which completes the third round. The holders out, of course, Crystal Palace beaten by Macclesfield of National League North in one of the FA Cup's greatest ever shocks. Free kick to Brighton. Grood is going to take with his left foot. Puts it in low, it takes a deflection and slashed well over the bar by Veltman. Seen that on a few of the free kicks. A lot of them have been aimed in low. Bruno Fernandes had a shot from one that he tried to sneak. Well, he did sneak under the wall, but wide. Gruder cuts inside of Ugarte and throws himself to ground. Referee not having any of it. Mainu brings the ball away and finds Bruno Fernandes. Now Cunha rides to tackle a Welbeck, then overruns the ball slightly and fouls Kadioglu. Ten minutes of the second half gone. Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Could this be the last game of Darren Fletcher's interim spell in charge of the first team? Manchester Derby, the next game next Saturday. Ugarte is beaten by Gomez, and now Rutter helps it on to Bruder. Right hand side of the penalty area, cuts onto his left foot, trying to find space for a shot. Can't find one. Finds Hinchelwood instead. Veltman lashes across the box. He was offside, Veltman, which perhaps explains his poor delivery. The FA Cup was the first trophy Darren Fletcher won in his Manchester United career as a player. In 2004 that was the only FA Cup he actually won during his time at Old Trafford as a player. United, of course, have won it 13 times, more than anyone other than Arsenal, who progressed through the third round earlier today. Brighton just having a little bit of a spell here. They've got the territory at the moment. United had started the second half brightly, but Brighton have turned the tide somewhat. Hinchelwood with a clever ball to Gruder, who just can't quite bring it in on the stretch. It was a lovely fizzed pass by Hinchelwood. Considering the changes Brighton have made to their team, I'm sure Fabian Hersel will be more than happy with his side. Goalkeeper change, of course, but Jan-Paul Van Heck, Lewis Dunk, Maxim de Kuiper, Yassin Ayari and Kaoru Matoma all dropped out from that team that drew at City in midweek. Ugarte with a foul on Veltman. Just signs maybe of Manchester United showing frustration. Some space for Gomez, tries to fizz out a pass to the left for Kadioglu, but it's intercepted by Dalot. Here's Gruder on the right again, trying to cut in onto his left to find space for a shot. He squeezes one through. Looked like it had taken a nick off a United player, but it's been given as a goal kick. Yet to win in 2026, Manchester United, albeit this is only their third game. They've actually only won one home game since they beat Brighton at the end of October. That was the 1-0 win over Newcastle on Boxing Day. And as Dorgu has it on the left-hand side for the home side. Cunha digs out a cross. It's nowhere near Sheshko, and it's claimed by Steele. That win against Newcastle, United's only win in their last 6. The last time they failed to score in a match, though, was back in November when they were beaten 1-0 at home by Everton. Gruder wins the ball off Dorgu. Then Rutter helps him out to get it away. Nice flick by Rutter, gets Brighton out of a bit of a hole. Welbeck is tackled by Ugarte. If Welbeck had got away there was a searing run being made on the far side by Kadioglu. But Brighton look comfortable at the moment. They're in control of things. Welbeck driving forward. He's holding off Mainu, and in the end Mainu trips him, and Mainu's going to be booked. He just couldn't halt Welbeck's progress legally, Kobbie Mainu. Great bit of play from Danny Welbeck. 35 now. Manchester born and bred. Gross with a reverse pass intended for Kadioglu, who's done well to keep it in despite the pressure of Cunha. Now Gross. Brighton have got plenty of men forward off the back of that free kick. Buscagli plays it back out to Kadioglu. Shapes the cross, then finds a nice pass into Gross, who pulls it back into a dangerous area. Mount with a good bit of defending, and in fact he's won a free kick. He was clipped by Rutter. First change being made. Kobbie Mainu being replaced by Joshua Zirkzee. And Mason Mount also going to make way. And he'll be replaced by Shea Lacey, who came off the bench and was lively and direct against Burnley. He had a couple of shots from range that went close. Now Cunha driving forward for United. Oh, he got into the box and was hoping to find space for a shot, but every touch he took just put him in towards even more Brighton players, and they're able to clear. Ball comes in by Veltman. Gruder, I think, maybe thought he was offside. Finds Welbeck, who shoots left-footed. It's 2-0. And Danny Welbeck does it again. Scores against Manchester United. Lashes home left-footed into the top corner. And Brighton have a 2-0 lead. And Manchester United are maybe heading out at the third round stage for only the third time in 40 years. Gruder's been a threat all night. He just popped up in between Dorgu and Yoro. Was allowed to turn, but the weighted pass and the first touch from Welbeck just shifted it onto his left foot, and then he fires it into the top corner. And the man who left Manchester United all those years ago in search of more opportunities to play through the middle, well, as he's done so many occasions, he's reminded Manchester United of perhaps what they missed. That's his 8th goal against Manchester United since he left the club. And it's his 3rd in his last 4 visits to Old Trafford as well. In his first season, in the same season he left United, he went to Arsenal at the end of the August transfer window. He scored the winner for Arsenal in an FA Cup quarter-final at Old Trafford. And has he put this game beyond Manchester United now? Here's Šeško. Holds the ball up in the centre circle. Finds Ugarte. Now Dallo to Lacey. Bruno Fernandes. Plays it forward for Dorgu. He'll do well to keep it in. He goes down, Dorgu. In the box. Gruder, the man who was chasing him, there was nothing in it. Gruder was just trying to keep Dorgu off. Dorgu wasn't going to keep the ball in. Went to ground. Now Gruder again. He's got Welbeck with him again. Oh, he tried to play the reverse pass to Rutter, which was well watched by Martinez, who will bring the ball forward for United, who, well, they brought Xerxes on, so in terms of attacking options, they've not really got much else. They'll be pleased to see Brian Mbemo should be available for the Manchester derby. His Cameroon side have been knocked out of the African Cup of Nations, so he'll be on his way back to Manchester to provide United some much needed options in the attacking third. As Lacey's cross is headed goalwards by Šeško, it's just a yard wide. Good bit of play from Shea Lacey. He's left-footed, but he got that onto his right and put a decent ball in. Šeško got up really well. I think Steele probably had it covered. Lacey wanted a free kick, but Brighton are able to clear. Here's Lenny Yoro. Still time for Manchester United here, 21 minutes to go. Extra time and penalties if we're level at 90, but United have got a long way to go to guarantee even that, because they're 2 goals down here at home to Brighton. Gruder flicks it past Dorgu. Dorgu blocks him off. The referee gives a free kick. He's had a good game. Gruder scored the first goal. The young German. Does qualify for Albania. Gruder has turned down a call up by them in the hope that he can play one day for Germany. He has played for Germany's youth teams for the up to under-21s, who he still currently represents. Here's Dorgu for United now. Cross towards Xerxes, waiting for it at the back post, but it's headed away. Now Dallo to Lisandro Martinez. Bruno Fernandes, space to turn, finds Xerxes. Good bit of play from Bruno Fernandes, finds Lacey. Lacey wants to run at his man. Plays it back to Bruno Fernandes, shovels up across towards Dorgu at the back post, headed out by Gruder. Now Ugarte. Good strong challenge by Rutter. And Ugarte settles for a throw-in. Dorgu will take that throw-in. Into Ugarte, drops it off for him. Now Martinez was going down a little bit of a blind alley, and in the end he's conceded a throw-in, which Gruder threatened to take quickly, but I'm sure he'll wait and just allow his team to get up the field. Good strong challenge by Alessandro Martinez, wins the ball back. He tries to find Lacey, but it was closed down by Welbeck. Now Lamens made to rush with his clearance. It's beyond Sesko, but then Sesko brings down a poor header by Coppola. Wanted to get it through for Xerxes, but it was intercepted. But United have got numbers forward here. Lacey driving towards the box. Good foot in by Kadioglu. He's another who's had a decent game for Brighton. And they snuff out that attack. Here's Welbeck, scored the second Brighton goal. Buscagli plays a 1-2 with Kadioglu, who will now chase down this long ball to Lamens, forcing Lamens to go long, and he can only find Veltman. So Veltman's in space on the halfway line for Brighton. Passes out right to Rutter. Rutter cuts inside Dorgu, who goes down as if, well, Rutter maybe put a hand in his face or something, but play goes on. Gruder. Dorgu's down on the floor, out of position. There's Kadioglu, who's going to shoot from 25 yards. Hit it well enough, but it was a yard or two over the crossbar. Van Heck's getting ready to come on, or he was getting ready to come on. He was stripped off and ready, but he's now putting his coat back on. The Brighton centre half. Perhaps a sign that they just want to tighten things up a bit at the back, get extra bodies back there. Cunha is fouled by Veltman. Free kick for United, 10 yards inside the Brighton half. They've got on with it quickly. Fernandes clips it out left-footed to Lacey. Lacey's got space. Shapes across right-footed, then tees it back for Fernandes. He digs it in, looking for Dorgu. It's headed up more in the air than anywhere by Veltman, and Dorgu with an acrobatic overhead kick attempt. He's actually got blood pouring from his nose, Dorgu, presumably from that collision with Rutter. He's going to need to get that seen to, I think, Patrick Dorgu. But play goes on for the time being. Steele and Hinshelwood almost get each other in trouble. Dallow has it midway through the Brighton half, finds Bruno Fernandes. Good pass by Bruno Fernandes to Zirks. He's got time to pick out an option. Oh, he tried to find Dallow. It was well read by Buscagli. Lovely pass from Bruno Fernandes to find the run of Xerxes. But they're just not creating the chances, Manchester United here. As Gomez has gone down with cramp in the centre circle. And it looks like Brighton are going to use this stoppage to make a trio of changes. Van Heck's got his coat back off. Mitoma is getting ready to come on as well. So a lengthy stoppage then as this cramp is treated. Welbeck is coming off. He's going to give his captain's armband to... Well, he was going to Jason Steele. He's now looking for someone else. But it looks like Welbeck has sealed Brighton's progress to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Back underway then. Now Lacey on the right hand side again. Crosses in, cleared by Van Heck, one of those three Brighton substitutions. And United are going to make some. Harry Maguire and Casemiro getting ready to come on. So just a flurry of changes. I'll update you with them very shortly. Ayari, Mitoma and Van Heck have replaced Veltman, Gomez and Welbeck for Brighton. And now Casemiro and Maguire are going to replace Ugarte and Lisandro Martinez for Manchester United. But the game's just... There's a yellow card here for, I think, the Brighton manager for delaying the restart. Well, the game has basically come to a standstill in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Time's ticked on and we've barely had any ball in play. Xerxes plays it outright to Lacey, wearing the number 61 shirt for Manchester United. They've now got 3 Brighton players closing him down. Casemiro, well, the pass was behind Bruno Fernandes, and Brighton have intercepted it, and they'll try and come forward again. Gross, 1-2 with Rutter, digs it over, looking for a Yari. That's a foul on Xerxes. And it's a Manchester United free kick, but they're running out of time. Manchester United. Oh, and Lacey has a shot from the edge of the box. Lands on the roof of the net. I mentioned he did that a few times. Casemiro was stumbling and just flicked it into Lacey's direction, and he dug out a shot that landed on the roof of the net. United need something quick. Last 10 minutes. Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. United really haven't threatened the Brighton goal so much in this second half. Will they now with Sesko? Turns and shoots straight at Steele. Difficult chance. Now Sesko, again on the edge of the box, finds Cunha. Van Heck out quickly to shut Cunha down. Now Bruno Fernandes shapes the cross, plays it sideways to Casemiro. He clips it into Dalot. But it was behind Dalot, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Another change being made here by Brighton. Jorginho Rutter is going off to be replaced by Karolampos Kostoulos. And to be honest, the game's just petering out. Not a great deal happening. Time very much against Manchester United, but they're not really doing anything to ask questions of Brighton. Ever since Welbeck's second goal, it's been a relative non-event this game, and Brighton managing their way through it, slowing the game down with substitutions. Cadioglu, that wasn't. Yeah, it was. It was a foul throw. Sorry, it was Biscagli. And so United have a throw in. Dallo gets on with it quickly to Yoro, which perhaps was ill-advised. Yoro's fortunate that it ricochets into the path of Harry Maguire. Now, Yoro again. Cross comes in towards Casemiro. It's headed behind by Coppola for Manchester United corner. It's almost now or never for Manchester United. Maguire goes up, his first appearance since the draw against Tottenham at the beginning of November. Can he lead a comeback like we saw against Lyon in the Champions League last season? It's headed in. It's Sesko at the back post. Fernandez's deep corner. Maguire was there, but it was Sesko who made the contact, and with 5 minutes of the 90 left, Manchester United have a lifeline. It was almost Sesko and Maguire that both went for it. It's the striker who's peeling away as the goal scorer, I think. But they almost headed it simultaneously at the back post. It snuck in, inside, steals, near post. And Manchester United have a goal that gives them at least some hope of getting back into this. Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Last 5 minutes, play is back underway. Casemiro finds Dallo, who's striding through midfield. Oh, he tried a reverse pass to Xerxes when he really didn't have to. And he's coughed up possession back to the away side. Gross finds Buscagli. He digs out a pass. Well, I'm not sure that's for. Well, he's onside is Mitoma. He lobs it over the goalkeeper and in, but the flag does eventually go up. Just a reminder, if United do find an equaliser, it's extra time that follows at Old Trafford, no replays. These days, of course. Here's Bruno Fernandes, flicks it forward for Xerxes, who keeps it away from Ayari, but can't find a teammate with his pass. Now Mitoma, Gross is making a good run forward. Mitoma, his pass towards him is charged down. Now Lacey. Oh, his touch was heavy. And he's going to be booked there, Shea Lacey. He tried to go on the inside rather than the outside, and he overran the ball and then left a foot in on Ayari. And he's picked up a yellow card for that, Shea Lacey. Wind a bit more of the clock down from a Brighton point of view. 3 minutes of the 90 left. Yoro heads it down for Dallo. Now Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes. Space to turn. Plays it forward to Cunha. Cunha plays it through to Sesko. Sesko knocks it past Van Heck, but had his momentum just about killed, and it was good covering, defending by Costulas. Because Sesko had beaten Van Heck initially. Van Heck just did enough to hold him up enough so that his teammate could come back and prevent Sesko from firing a shot past Steele, as Bruno Fernandes at the other end now is holding up Mitoma. And a foul by Cunha means Brighton have a free kick that will enable them to wind the clock down further. Might even give them a chance to score a third and really put the game beyond doubt. Danny Welbeck's goal, currently the difference. He fired Brighton into a 2-0 lead before he vacated the scene as a substitute. Benjamin Sesko's header has given United at least some hope in these closing stages, but the play is currently at the wrong end of the pitch from their point of view. Gross takes the free kick short to Gruder, who'll take the ball to the corner. Cunha and Dorgu just about win it back off him. And now Casemiro has it. He digs it out for Shea Lacey, who can't bring it down under pressure from Karioglu, He's won a throw. Well, he thought he'd won a throw in, Lacey. And well, he's going to be sent off here, Lacey. A second yellow card. He pushed Kadioglu. He pushed Kadioglu, and the ball hit Kadioglu and went out, and it would have been a United. Well, he thought it was a United throw, and in his frustration, Lacey's then bounced the ball against the floor in anger because he thought it was a throw-in, and the referee says that was dissent and has given him a second yellow card and sent him off. So Manchester United down to 10 men. And that winds even more time off the clock here towards the end of the game. We're just about ticking through to 90 minutes. That's a sloppy pass by Ayari, which gives United a throw-in, but then United have given the ball back. 5 minutes of added on time for Manchester United to find an equaliser, but at the moment they just can't get hold of the ball. They will here because the ball's gone out for a goal kick, but Brighton are going to hold the game up further with another substitution. They're fifth. In fact, they're not permitted to make it yet. United have got the goal kick going, and now Casemiro will bring it through midfield. Plays it up to Cunha. Cunha now to Dorgu. Dorgu clips in a cross. It's above Šeško and straight into Jason Steele's arms. He bowls it out quickly to Mitoma. Mitoma plays it forward for Kostoulas, who's miles offside. I think United want that as a free kick, but the officials are going to say it's a throw-in, but they'll have to wait to take it because Brighton are now going to make this change, and Brian Gruder, the scorer of the first goal, he's had a good game for Brighton. He's going to make way. He applauds the travelling fans. He'll be replaced by Tommy Watson as Brighton try and see out this game. Would be their fourth win in the last 5 visits to Old Trafford. Throwing down the line. Maguire will see it out for a throw-in. And Kostoulas keeping the ball off him. Maguire's now going to be booked for that, and I think Kostoulas is also going to be booked, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. Or is it? Well, no, it's a throw-in. I was going to say a free kick makes it a lot easier for Manchester United, and it wasn't a free kick, it was a throw-in. They just can't get out of their own end at the moment, Manchester United. They're running out of time, 2.5 minutes to go. Bruno Fernandes trying to find Casemiro, just about finds Casemiro, who now gets it out to Cunha. United, oh, it's a poor pass from Cunha, who's looking for Šeško, well read by Kadioglu. And now, good tackle by Lenny Yoro, and not only is it a good tackle on Mitoma, the ball's managed to stay in the field of play for him. So, is this the platform for Manchester United now? 2 minutes of the 5 added on left. Maguire shovels it onto Dorgu. Dorgu cuts in from the left, checks back, now back onto his left foot, poked away from him by Hinshelwood. He's still on it, Dorgu. His cross is charged down. He finds Maguire. It comes back to Dorgu, who tries to slide in for Xerxes. Takes a deflection. Xerxes nods it back down to Maguire. And then Dorgu flicks it off Watson for a throw-in. So throw-in maybe 5 or 6 yards up from the corner flag on the United left-hand side. Oh, Dorgu. Well, it was thrown in by Bruno Fernandes to Dorgu. His return pass to Bruno Fernandes was short, but it's been hammered out into the crowd by Watson. Sesko chests the ball down on the edge of the box. Now Cunha poked away by Gross. Good tackle by Dallo. 2 good tackles by Dallo. Keep Man United interested. But eventually Brighton get the ball. Kadioglu uses Mitoma and then wins a throw-in. And I think that might be that. We're in the final minute of the 5 added on. Brighton have frustrated Manchester United in these last 10 minutes. But free kick for Manchester United just inside their own half. This is it for them. Bruno Fernandes surely will lump this forward towards the box. Here it comes. Maguire nods it into a dangerous area, but no one gets in front of the keeper. And it bounces through to Jason Steele. Harry Maguire has his head in his hands. And Brighton now with Hinshelwood and Watson will surely run this ball to the corner and end the match and secure their first ever FA Cup win over Manchester United. And there it is, the full-time whistle. Danny Welbeck returns to Old Trafford to knock them out the FA Cup for the second time in his career. He did it for Arsenal way back when. He's done it now for Brighton. Despite Benjamin Sesko's header giving Manchester United perhaps some false hope towards the end, it is Brighton that progress to the 4th round of the FA Cup. The final score at Old Trafford, Manchester United 1,